We'll have to
All
get
right.
Rahul's
Good
pants back
evening,
on.
everyone. Welcome to Conquest Live. We're here with Huy, and unfortunately, Andy cannot make it again because of technical difficulties. So we brought in Yuri as a replacement. Hashtag one of the good guys that launches a lot of battle reports online. So if you know Bulldog Hammer, this is Yuri from Bulldog Hammer, one half of the brothers. Next time we'll probably get Levon on as well. But thank you for joining us, Yuri, tonight. And we, of
Yeah,
course,
the
thank you
pleasure.
for joining again. Yeah, and tonight we're going to talk a bit about tiering in the AOS realm and all the armies. We'll break it down. But before we get into that, how was everyone's week? We?
Well, mine's pretty
We
good.
want to go.
Yeah, I'll get going. I finished up 20 of these Blood Reavers for commission. Man, there's a lot of work on these things.
Yes.
It's 20 Blood Reavers. How many points is that? Like, it's 8? Like, come on. It's brutal.
20 Blood Reavers is 140 points. Imagine
Yo,
when
that's
I
cheap.
have to paint 100 of them.
Yeah. I know. It's all skin and belts and like armor and skulls.
Yeah, they got lots of detail on them. Considering that
Tons.
there's a ton of details, there's a ton of like multiple colors. Even though like you can't get away with not doing like all the bells and whistles because is everything's on that model. So
Yeah, you could simplify it, I guess, but it's definitely, if you lavish attention on it, it does look really good with it on. So
yeah,
yeah, I just cranked the head on them, and it just was like, got it done. It's good, you know. So yeah, that's been my week.
nice. What about you,
Cool.
Yuri? I know you put up a new
Well,
battle report today.
yeah, we released the new battle report. We still, keep testing giants against different armies. So it was against Elariel and her forces. Giants keep dominating the battlefield. So
Oh
couldn't
yeah.
wait to, have a game against Corn. And speaking of a giant, I had some progress painting the gate breaker this week. It's obviously not finished yet, but the guy has lots of details,
Oh wow,
right? So yeah, it's a pretty, very detailed. It's just a joy to paint model like that. Just loving it. So yeah, that's
Mhm.
been my week. What about you, Rahul?
yeah, I haven't. This week has been really rough with my first week at my new job. So it was like, yeah, it was a very fast week, and I really didn't get much hobbying in at all. I did clean the mold lines off some of my black orcs, so yeah, that's about it. Yeah, I'm building that orc full worth 100R boys, so we'll see how that goes. Um, yeah. Other than that, I watched Jordan's new battle report with Lumineth versus Seraphon. I don't know if you saw
Yeah,
it,
yeah.
but I watched that battle report because when we're going through the armies, I realized I don't know much about Seraphon at all, and
Mm.
yeah, so we'll get into the tiers later. But yeah, other than that, that's been pretty much my week. Just trying to get back into the swing of maybe some of the hobbying stuff, but I haven't really. It's for me, it's very difficult because if I don't play, I don't feel the need to hobby at all. What drives me in the hobby is really just gaming. The only
Yeah.
thing that I find myself that if I really want to get back into the swing of things, or if I want to get really good, I just watch a lot of battle reports. I pretty much gather all my information from that, and I especially like competitive ones. So I'll watch a battle report. If I don't think it's competitive enough, I will switch to another battle report really fast. So yeah, that's just the way I
Yeah.
learn. Yeah.
And Jordan doing a great job. He was recently, with the AOS coach talking about the Deepkin and the
Yeah.
recent changes.
Yeah. With the
Yeah.
Morathi book, there's some changes to Deepkin.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, I
Well,
think the Morathi book has really brought out a new some new war scrolls back into the fray for Idonet, especially with the sharks being able to, you can't run away from the shots when they put you in combat, right?
I think it's pile-in or something, right?
Yeah,
Like you can't pile in.
You
can't
cannot
pile in.
pile it. Yeah,
So
they
you can
hit you with a
tag
net.
them. You can tag them like 1 inch away, and they cannot move, and you can pretty much minimize the amount of attacks. You can pin a unit really quickly with the shark, so it becomes a very clever tactic. It's also a way to enable the Ethernet to send their eels where they need to go instead of trying and it's a really good mechanic. And I think Ethernet
Yeah.
has just become a lot better because of it. So that book has
You know,
changed stuff for them.
I honestly think that still the eel build is stronger than the shark build and the turtle build for some reason.
What I would say is the eels are still the strongest build, like majority eels, yes. But I think the sharks, what they do is they complement those eels a lot. Because what
Yeah.
happens is you can pin chaff units so that they can't get in your way, or they have
Yeah.
to utilize the retreat move in their movement phase to get into your way. So you can kind of restrict how that person is going to react with his chaff wall just by using your sharks. So 1 or 2 sharks, they're not going to do a lot of damage, but they're going to hinder your opponent from using maybe trap walls the way he would like them to be used,
Yeah.
right? So it makes the eels become more effective in I think hitting what they want to hit.
I'll disagree with that, Rahul, just on the basis that the eels, they don't really care that much about chaff so much because they fly, right? What I think the sharks are useful for is the eels have a narrow front base, and you stick like 3 or 6 onto like a piece of a very large unit of witch block, let's say, or a big scary unit of black orcs or whatever, Ardboys, and then there's very limited like bodies piling into you, right? So it's like the giants. The giants just need to get one toe into that unit, and they don't want like to be surrounded by 40 guys. They just want to punch that one guy and then just have everyone else get punched, right? So if they can kind of keep all that piling in away from their eels, their offensive eels can really just go to work, right? So the chaff wall is not as big of a deal for them because they just fly over, and they have kind of long, narrow bases, and that's good for being able to do this like bullshit, like I'm just gonna go like this and zip over, right? So
Sure.
that's my thought on it. Is that, but sharks, I do think have a place. They had a place before, but they were just so cheap. That was the only thing that really did it, as opposed to being a utility piece, let's say, right? So
Yeah,
I don't know.
mean, like I said, until I play against them, it's very hard for myself, especially to rehammer an army. It's a little bit difficult for me. When I play an army, I get my own. I understand the battle plan a lot more, or if I watch battle reports, right? So, from what I saw when I read the shark thing, or the first thing that came to mind was they could pin a unit. That's all that mattered to me. Was like,
Yeah.
I believe a unit that's pinned, and pinning is to me in effect is also saying that the unit can't move when I touch it. So that's what the shark does, right? It locks you in position. You can't move. It makes me in control. It puts me, if I'm the Ethernet player, in control of that unit. So that's what I'm trying to get at. It's just
well, it's valid, I think, Rahul, in terms of like what you're saying. Like let's say you're playing Skaven, and they've got like a bunch of like clan rats in front, like screening out. Actually, pinning that screen in place is really annoying for Skaven because they just were like, I need them to get out of my damn way so I can like get my bruisers in to punch your guys, right? You know what I'm saying? So that's what I think you meant by like the chaff wall. But like I just take it more like if I were a Deepkin player, I'd probably use the more like keeping pylon away from my eels because the eels are going to get in there. I think basically is my thought process, right? But you can use that tactic too. They're both valid tactics for sure, right?
Yeah, I think we'll get into it later, like when we go through the tiers. But for now, let's just see. So
those filthy sons of Behemoth, though, that doesn't work on them. All those SOBs.
Yeah, so today we're gonna go through weekly roundup. We did that. So in the news, did you guys see the new White Wolf that came out?
I didn't see it. I mean, I know that about the spiders coming in, but I don't know much about them though.
So there is this new Grimscuttle tribes that's coming in. That's pretty much the
Hmm.
only news that I saw for that was new on AOS side. Unless you guys see
What?
something else.
Rahul,
Well,
come on.
is coming out, right? Mortals.
Yeah.
Mortals.
Yeah, so
Huh?
the Nash models, we went through that last week though, right?
No, there's a new model that came out today, Rahul.
Today,
Oh,
yeah.
Today, yeah.
Today.
I don't look at today.
Beautiful. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Okay.
This Middle Eastern theme. It's
Very
really
Middle
cool.
Eastern. Oh, Rahul, you'll love it.
With the flared
Yeah.
pants.
With the flare pants and this little mirror, it's like you might as well say that they're out of Constantinople. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just oof.
Yeah.
Okay, let's just see what is. Let's see if I can find this unit now.
This is how you bait Rahul into looking it up. Like you have to bring up this region, and he's like, "Oh, I have to look at it now."
I'm interested.
That's why he loves it.
in
That's why you love Assassin's Creed 1. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Are you guys
I'm
planning
interested.
on getting those starter boxes by any chance?
Starter boxes.
Yeah.
We talked
Great,
about
sir.
the Christmas boxes last week. I don't know. Like they're really good buy if you're, like I said, like because I'm not gaming as much. I'm not like at the itching to spend money right now. I don't know whether meta is gonna switch up. I don't even know when we're gonna get back into tournament mode, right? So until that happens, I'm kind of like.
Yuri, that's a responsible
Yeah.
answer. My answer is I already bought one. So like
Oh, you did? Which one?
Zinch, bro. Zinch. Come on.
Oh.
That loader change? That loader change is already like 180, you know what I'm saying? And the thing's like 250. I'm like, yo, that's pretty cheap for if I add up all that other stuff. You know what I'm saying? And since I'm playing, and the question of a Zinch is, okay, how many birds do you need? That would be my third bird, big bird, right? So one Kairos and 2 Lords of Change. That's basically perfect, right? So that would be my third one.
What about you,
That's
Yuri?
it.
Did you buy any?
No, we bought enough. We're just building a Caradron army.
Okay.
So
But that box is good though.
This box, yeah, but we've got most of it. Anyways, we just need to assemble and paint it.
But if even if you're starting a KO box, you would start with that for sure. Like
yes, I agree.
you would need, that's everything you need, right? Like just 3 of those.
That's a very good value, yeah. Yeah, for sure. and then we are finished painting our Karhuron series as well list.
Oh, okay.
So
what's in your list? What was in that list, anyways? I haven't seen.
I think it's very similar. It's a very similar to the one that you've presented the other day.
Okay. What's the difference though?
So just we added the Shadow Warriors.
Yep.
There.
Yep.
For the
you can have Shadow Warriors.
Yeah, you could.
Why? They're not Scourge Privateers or Order Serpentis and stuff like that. If they're hard to run.
Yeah, they've got a Shadow Warriors.
But Shadow Warriors, maybe, I guess. If they're part of the Assassin group, is that why?
Probably.
So is this what you guys talking about? This model right here?
Oh, yeah. There it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got to change my pants now.
But this is a Warcry model, isn't it?
Yeah, but come on, Rahul. Come on.
Yeah, but that does not count as AOS. I'm talking about
Yeah,
AOS.
no, it's coming in. What are you talking about? It's already coming out.
It's hard to tell what these warbands are gonna do, right? Like I don't know. So
this is a character, man. This is for sure. Like it's not even a unit.
Badass. Like regardless, he's a badass model. But then the models from GW are just crazy good right now.
So good, man. So good.
Yeah. So okay, so Yuri's not buying anything. We's bought his box. I don't know. I haven't. I'm strongly leaning towards that Stormcast build. So.
Oh, Filthcast.
Yeah, Filthcast. Like the nasty.
You have to play Yuri that nasty list.
Yeah.
Does Yuri know about this list? Do you remember this?
No, he doesn't. No? Nobody knows about it. We'll release it.
No. Okay. The secret filth tech list.
Yeah.
If that list gets nerfed rule, I have a backup plan. Don't worry. You will still have the filth. Don't worry. Backup filth.
All right.
It's so old filth that it's from the old order book, like the Age of Sigmar order book. So That's how old this filth is, and it's still technically legal. So
Yeah.
don't worry, I got you backed up. All right. So did they say anything in this White Dwarf about what these are though, or no? They just mentioned them.
Not really. They didn't say much about it. It's just like a new faction. There's a little bit of blurb about it, but I don't know too much about it. So, but we'll see it when it comes out. But what we're here to talk about tonight is obviously this. So this is the tiers that have been presented. Now, where did you get this list from?
I went on this tier maker website, and
Okay.
you just look up you just type in Age of Sigmar, and then there's kind of various templates for putting in tiers. So I just grabbed one, and some of them are harder, like they use art, and then it's if you don't see it very well, but like here at least they put the name in, so it's kind of better, right?
Yeah.
But I just slotted them in according to my official GW endorsed ranking system. So
okay, is that your official, or is it your official, or is it GW official?
Are you talking about? We use a very thorough methodology rule of ranking armies.
All right,
called,
so we got F is what, fail?
F is down into, oh God, what have I done? And S is like, this is too much. No human should possess this much power, right? So that's the range.
So in the F we got Beast of Chaos, and what is that other one?
Exactly.
Chaos.
It's
the Chaos
Dwarf. The Chaos Dwarf, the Tamurand or whatever that is, that from Wardrobe. Is that what you
exactly.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, like the Wardrobe stuff is not fleshed out for AOS at all. It's not. It doesn't follow the meta at all, I think. So it's definitely.
It's old stuff, right?
Yeah, it's old stuff. It's also. I don't think it's actually written with current meta in mind. Yeah. Beast of Chaos, though, down there. Why did you put it down there,
So I'll tell you, it's not just purely table competitiveness that I thought about, but it's also what it takes to collect the army, how I think the army aesthetics look, and the flexibility of the army, right? Okay. And so, say for example, so some armies have a lot more scrolls, so when the meta kind of shifts, they can kind of adjust. And other ones are like, okay, I got this one build, and well, if this gets borked, I'm toast, right? So that's kind of the consideration there. And with Beast of Chaos, it's mostly an ugly factor.
Ugly factor.
And being a very 2 out of 5 type of army, you can win a couple games, but
you're not gonna make any friends tonight.
Me?
Ugly factor.
What are you talking about? All the Seraphon people will love me. Or they hate me because they'll say, "Oh, you're saying we're too good." Blah blah blah. I can't win, right? But no, it's fine. I mean, all their sculpts are old, right? What did they get that was new, really, right? And their really good ones are really old and ugly, say Ungor Raiders, Ugs, right? And all the monsters they have, like Jabber Slides and Cockatrice and all that stuff, it's kind of ugly too. You know what I'm saying? They're not cool as the new sculpts are, right?
So aesthetics is what you based your tier on.
And it's also it's expensive to collect, right? It's actually if you want to get I think the competitive way to really play Beasts is a lot of Ungors and Ungor Raiders and things like that, right? Just harassing everywhere with a million bodies, but just the barrier to entry to that is just forget about it. It's way too high, right? So that's part of my rationale. I mean, it does have definitely some positive benefits, right? But
yeah. So let's talk about it from a competitiveness level. I agree that the Beast of Chaos to me are not very competitive right now. They used to be.
Yeah.
I mean, you can still take your Zangor and Lighten, but I think they went up in points. They're a little bit more. They're like a glass cannon that is really glass cannon, right? So, and all the ambushing that Beast of Chaos used to have that made them good, I think it's kind of been negated by a lot of the newer armies being able to teleport, and so movement is not as premium as it used to be. So I think Beast of Chaos have succumbed slowly over time. When they first came out, it was rough to play against them because they were such a fast army. Before Slanesh, the Beast of Chaos was the fastest army on the field, right?
Yep.
And then Flesh Eater Courts got a couple of bids that made them really fast, and then Slanesh got really fast, and then Beast of Chaos kind of fell away because they didn't have sustenance. They could come up, hit you, but then they would crumble really fast.
Well, I kind of attributed it less to other armies getting fast than it is the rise of more ranged threats, right? So like Zinch, Seraphon, KO, these guys go in and they snipe your support characters, right? And those guys add a lot of utility to the army. And once you take them out, then the engine of the army kind of goes away, and so you're really like crumbling, right? So
so the meta has shifted. I mean, you got more balanced forces coming out, right? A lot more shooting and stuff.
And the thing too, like I would say that the part that I like, personally speaking, are like the big boys, the beefy boys. Like the Warherd,
Minotaur.
Minotaurs and stuff like that. I think they look cool, but like they just stink so badly in the game. I was like, oh god, like so, it's like, do I go with something that looks good but like sucks, or something that like is not horrible and doesn't look that good? So because that's why it's in the F for me.
Right.
But you guys agree or you guys disagree?
I believe they're lower in tier, so I agree with that.
Lower than F? They're F minus?
No. I mean, I don't know. Like my tiering system is a little bit different. It's either is like broken, competitive, and non-competitive. That's how I do it.
Wow.
It's not so many grades. I'm not like that. I don't grade it up.
You're always like I'm too granular. Maybe this is like way too ungranular.
But I think you need this in order to kind of separate the list out a bit more. Because I like I said, I'm more of a competitive level player. I'm not really like, I just look at it from how well can this play on the field of battle under my generalship. So it's kind of I'm very biased when I choose an army.
Well, Yuri, have you ever played a Beast of Chaos player?
Yeah. But before, now it occurred to me. I know why Andy's not on today's show. He probably you showed him this list. He saw the Beast of Chaos being in the F tier, and he just bailed. But I think
he just cut his internet in half.
Yeah. But he went to the primordial state. But I think in general, Beast of Chaos has a good mechanics because they have lots of buddies on the table. They have a summoning, they have a deep striking, they have a basic magic. So I think it comes down to the experience. I mean, Andy, he's pretty knowledgeable with this army. He won, few games. So you really need to learn how to play with this army. Because it has lots of moving pieces, moving parts to it. It's I think it's a very cool army.
Yeah.
I think there's builds that are competitive for sure. It's just that
I don't know. I think it's hard to separate. I mean, when I look at Beast of Chaos as a whole, I don't think it's very competitive as an army itself. There's always going to be one build in the army, but then it gets very boring to play that build all the time. So I think when you look at it from that standpoint, I don't know. I think the thing that they had going for them was speed and ambushing, and I just don't think that's very effective right now, especially from them, because they are very, very weak and they get hit really, really hard and they crumble. Leadership checks are really, really bad for them.
Yeah. But they've got lots of buddies that care about losing. Half of the.
Yeah. Anyway. So I don't disagree where they're placed. What about you, Yuri?
I'm same. Like D and F for me, it's probably the same tier at this point.
Whoa!
Because it's like two. No, not I mean not in this specific list, but it's like
you mean like your feeling about them?
Yeah.
I don't know. I see Legion of Nagash in D. I
Yeah,
don't know
that's
about
right.
that, man. I don't know about that.
Okay, let's move on to the D then. Let's move on to the
Yeah,
D.
let's go
Let's
to
get.
D. So we got
Let me give you
Beastlaw
that D.
Raiders, we got
Yeah,
Night Haunts, we got
yeah,
Sylvaneth, and we have Legion of
yeah,
Nagash. So
yeah.
Beastlaw Raiders, I know one thing that lacks in the Beastlaw Raider is mobility. Like being able to jump over units has been a big problem. Beastlaw
Oh,
Raiders can be trapped really fast.
you missed your flying stonehorn, Rahul? Is that what you're saying?
Hmm?
Oh no,
Yeah.
no more flying stonehorn. Oh no.
Yeah, I mean that's the only thing that gave them a saving grace. Otherwise, you can just pin that whole army back in really quick.
Exactly.
Right,
So that's why
they become very non-competitive really quick. So
yes, they did.
they're cool and they hit like a ton of breaks, but you can really like if you're a smart player, you can pin them down real fast. So
Just slow them down, right? Like it's fine.
yeah,
What are they
and
gonna
then
do?
if you're playing against Yetis, the Yeti build I think is the same thing. It's just fast with the glass cannon, so you can take them apart.
They are cheaper though, Yetis.
They are cheaper, but the model is just so hideous. So
Oh,
unless you're
hideous.
converting that all up, I think the base
Yeah.
model itself is just terrible. So yeah, them being in D, 100%. Night Haunts though, I don't know, man. Night Haunts can
Yeah.
be pretty good. But
When we say pretty good, you mean like not good? You're saying?
why?
Like, well, okay, so all their characters are little weedy, like 5-6 wound dudes, right? They're
Yeah.
gonna get sniped, and they don't have a regeneration like gravesite mechanic, unless we talk about Legion of Night, which is probably the only way to really play it. And their stuff doesn't hit so hard that like you're really worried about Night Haunt, right? Because you can't bring in like things that give you Dance Macabre and stuff like that, right? So
Yeah, but that's
like,
why. But then you put Legion of Nagash in the same place. I mean, Legion
that's
of
right.
Nagash can be really deadly. If you take the two,
Okay, but we're talking about Night Haunt for now, right? So like Night Haunt.
I don't know, Night Haunts and Legion of Nagash almost like you can intermix them, right?
No way! What are you talking about?
Yeah, man. Because you take, I mean, I don't know. I just
Come on.
watched the battle report with Doom and Darkness, and he's playing his Night Haunts list. It was pretty cool.
Yeah.
It was pretty.
Is it Night Haunt or is it Legion of Night? Legion of Night. Yeah, Legion.
Legion of Night or Legion of Grief?
Oh, Grief. Sorry, Legion of Grief,
Legion
or
of
is
Grief
it?
is a very competitive build from the
But not Night Haunt.
side of things, right?
Night Haunt itself, it's like that. Right.
And Yuri, you see a Sylvaneth in the D spot.
I see. Yes, and I think this is where they belong.
Okay.
Since the new book, they've been trying to adjust this army by points, but I think you actually need to adjust the war scrolls for this army, which is a big shame because aesthetic wise, this is one of the better looking armies in the game. Elariel is an amazing piece, but 600 point for the Elariel, it's just it's too much. And Cornet Hunters are probably the best unit in the army, but they cost 200 points, 190. I think they dropped down a little bit, and it's just you don't have enough body. It's really cool. It's really in a bad spot. But going back to the Beastclaw Riders, actually, I disagree. I think this is one of the most competitive armies in the game, specifically the Stormborn build. I would put them in A. Like
Really?
I would put Ogres down to D.
Oh my God, we're gonna have to have a match. Your Beastclaw Raiders versus my Ogres. Let's go, Yuri.
Okay, no, but let's talk about Beastclaw. Let's talk about Beastclaw though. Like, why Beastclaw in A though? Let's talk about that.
So first of all, they punch like a truck. They are pretty survivable with a ward save. They can hold the objectives because each big guy counts as 10 mortals. They do tons of the mortal wounds, the impact damage, plus they have a very good command traits and the artifacts, like dealing mortal wounds left and right, like a metal cruncher, d6 mortal wounds to a close by enemy mortal every essentially combat phase. I think I think it's a great army just to play with. It's really strong. I remember Raul, you played a game with against um, Fan. You won by points, but after the turn 3, he destroyed your 2 Mole Crushers, your entire Iron Jaw's army, or with only 2 Stonehorns. And obviously it's a point game, and you played strategically, exceptional, but being able to completely table the Iron Jaws, not many armies can do that, right?
Yeah,
So I think,
but you're comparing two armies that, to me, they're just two blunt hammers swinging at each other, right? Like, when we talk about competitiveness, like when they put Beastclaw Raiders down. So let's look at the armies across the board here, right? If you look at, I don't know, Beastclaw Raiders versus
Corn.
Stormcast Eternals with their long strikes, they're gonna do a lot of damage to Beastclaw Raiders before they even get to be touched, right? Especially because Beastclaw Raiders can be pinned in, right? The moment you can pin them back, then it becomes a problem for them. Yeah, they can capture objectives, but if they cannot get around around your guys to go get those objectives, they have to go through them, and they might be able to go through 1 unit and 2 units. But when you waste 3 turns trying to get through the chaff that is being thrown at you, you're behind in the game in the long run, right? Because this is an objective-based game, and yes, they can capture objectives, but the main problem that I find with Beastcore Raiders is they just don't have a flying model or something that will get past you, right? They're always coming at you head on. You can see them coming, right? If they got a teleportation spell or something that will allow them to move,
yeah,
then I think, yeah, they'll get really effective, and then they'll be a little bit dangerous.
yeah.
Right?
You can see them coming, but there is not much you can do to stop them. There is a counter to any army essentially. Obviously, I agree with you that Beastclaw Riders suffer against the shooting army, but overall, if they get to you turn 1 and then they get the double turn, then
Yeah, I mean, like,
it's a game over. Essentially.
I think all these armies that are on this page can be built really well. There's no army in AOS that I would say that, I always say that if you really love that army, just build it and play it. You'll find a way to win, right? It may be frustrating, it may take you a long time, but I think every army has an ultimate build that you can build and be competitive with. But it just takes time. Some have a shorter learning curve, other ones have a longer learning curve, right? But it's just a matter of how much time you want to invest into it and how much strife you want to go through, right? So the thing about me, Beastclaw Raiders is a really cool army. Just having 5 Stonehorns on the table is an amazing thing to have. And if you want a low model count army that can do a lot of damage and can actually be competitive outside of Sons of Behemoth, I'd go to Beastclaw Raiders because they actually have exactly the same as Sons of Behemoth because they are big monsters that count as multiple wound models that can capture objectives and can do a shit ton of damage and are very resilient, right? They're more resilient than Sons of Behemoth because of the 5+ ward save that's on them, right? So they can be a really fun army. I think if you're a starter and a beginner player and you really want to get into the game and you want quick models that you want to paint and you don't want to paint giants, they would be an option that I would definitely say to a new player, go for it. Because you'll have a lot of fun, you look cool, and you can actually win some games with them. Right? So, 100%.
But then do you agree that they're a D, though, Rahul?
I would say they are. I cannot see Beastclaw Raiders being lower than Iron Jaws, in my opinion.
Whoa.
Yeah. So personally, no, I wouldn't put Beastclaw Raiders. Actually, I don't agree with any of these in being in the D.
What? Even Sylvaneth?
I'm not one to talk too much about Sylvaneth, but Sylvaneth does have the Winter Leaf build, which is pretty nasty, right?
Nasty, isn't it? It's like slightly more, but it's not that bad.
But they also have teleporting revenants. They have a lot of things that you can play with which does not make them ineffective. So if we look at our standards, right? You said one was the models in the army.
Yeah.
Sylvanet has some of the
Beautiful.
coolest models, correct?
Beautiful. Yes.
Right? So
Absolutely.
second, you said was the expense in collecting. Yes, they might be a little bit expensive. I don't know that much, right?
Depends on how many spy revenants you want, right? If you want like 40 spy revenants, buddy, right? But
yeah, but I don't
you
think you
run
need more than 2, right? Like you need 2 revenant.
Well, spy revs is the real
spy
tech.
revs. I don't know, maybe 2 or 3 units, maybe. I don't know. Well,
You need 3
tell us
because
how
of the cheap battalion that you get.
Yeah.
400.
But you might just want more though, Yuri, because they're so cheap.
right? And then let's look at that. So they got the coolest models. They're
cool models, yeah.
somewhat expensive. We'll give them that. And on the third thing is they are not as competitive on a whole. If you look at the whole as a book, they're not as competitive. They have maybe one very competitive build. I think the same can be said for Beastclaw Raiders in that they're cool looking models, but they don't have enough variation to build once you collect that army, right? But then I would say the same of Sons of Behemoth. Then the same.
And same with Nighthawk.
You only got 4 scrolls, and even then, 3 of them are made out of one kit, and one is made out of another kit. So
they make a really great use out of it, Rahul. So good.
But I'd say the same thing though. Like if we are categorizing them, that's why I'm saying like the D and the B is almost the same. You can't just
no way.
Whereas Iron Dust has a lot more they have a couple more war scrolls, right? So I don't know.
I think they're more competitive.
I'm with Yuri. I don't think they're D. I don't think they're D, especially Legion of the Gash. You cannot put Legion of the Gash in the D spot, man.
Oh, why not?
No way. There's Archon list builds. There's so many good list builds out of Legion of the Gash.
The problem with the Legion of the Gash is really why play them. Like
what?
Who's playing that? Who's playing that?
Dude, man, you need to come out to more tournaments again.
What are you talking about? We go to the same tournaments.
Every tournament that I've gone, there's been like a couple of Legion of the Gash players, and they're not like in the lower tier. They're always in mid tier.
They suffer from the character sniping. I'd say they suffer from that.
That's
for sure.
True. Maybe
like the vampires and like all the little weedy dudes. It's tough. I mean, they're not bad. I mean, they had their time in the sun with like 40 Grimgas per build. That, but
I
they're
think
kind of days over.
I think maybe when you look at today's meta right now, maybe Legion of the Gash not as competitive. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, do you see them? Right? Do you really see them? Not to what they.
Well, Nagash has kind of moved over to OBR, right? Like
exactly.
Now you see Nagash in OBR a lot more than you see him in Legion of Nagash itself.
Yeah.
So maybe the Death Faction. Maybe if I was really. I think I'm being nostalgic when I look at these lists sometimes. So so
I'm talking about like in the here and the now, right? Like Sylvanet at one time was like dominant too, right?
But it was absurd. I mean, Yuri said Mod 5 is lower than Beastclaw Raiders. Man, Yuri, those are fighting words.
We can talk about Mod 5 later.
Anyway, so
you guys disagree on Beastclaw Raiders, Nighthaunt, but Sylvanet, I think D is okay, and Legion Gash maybe it's probably a D. But okay, that's fine.
Nighthaunt too. I mean, Nighthaunt. I haven't seen a very competitive build from Nighthaunt. You are right.
Anyone playing it? Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. And so
you were trying.
I think being in the D deserves the Nighthaunts. Maybe deserve it.
The thing with Nighthaunt that kills me is that their range is just gorgeous.
It's amazing.
Coach, it's so beautiful. My God, I love it so much. Like, all the heroes are great, just fantastic. Yeah. But the dudes with the spears, they're garbage, right? Like, so the Mirmorn Banshees, they're garbage. The ones with the Dreadside Inheritance, they're garbage. Like in game, so many of them are just so bad. It's just maddening. It's just like I would love this army to be really great, but it's just not. So, anyways, we'll move on to C.
All right, go to C. We got cities. You put cities in C lower than Iron Jaws. You must be crazy. You think Tempest High belongs in C?
You think Carfuron belongs in C?
Yeah. There's something wrong with you, brother. like I put Cities of Sigma in double A, man. not even in C.
Double A.
Double A for sure, 100%, man. 100%. I put City of Sigmar in double A. It's got too much versatility to be put into a C slot. How many scrolls are in that book?
Yeah, it's got a button.
Yeah, like how could you put them in the C slot? You can build so many different types of armies in Cities of Sigmar. There's no way they could be in the C slot.
Got a lot of like not very good armies. Yeah, that's true.
You come on, get out of there. You're the one who was building that all magic army. That's the problem.
Yeah, that army is now illegal, so I can't even run that anymore.
I think cities cannot be in the C slot. I'll put them in the double A slot, to be honest with you.
Double A is bananas, man. Bananas.
No, not bananas. I mean, considering that how many combinations you can get off with that army.
I mean, so I think like Phoenix Guard or like one of the exactly. You got this comment up here. Phoenix Guard are amazing, but then you're like, all right. Let's name all the other amazing units. Okay, Shadow Stalkers.
Frostheart Phoenixes.
Frostheart Phoenix, maybe. Yeah, that's pretty good.
You got the Black Dragons. You got the Dragons that are really good.
They're not really good, but okay.
You got a ton of shooting from them.
Pistoliers are good.
That's the problem with cities. You got to look at it. I think it's hard just to look at it as just a one book, right? Because you can bring in other units, right?
Yeah. It gets good because you can bring in.
Marathi is amazing as well.
Yes, that is. So what saves the book is the allying in Marathi, right? Like, what saves the book is, I can bring in KO into this army. Yo, that's it.
Here we go. We got somebody. Outriders, Pistoliers, Hurricane. Iron Drake.
Hurricane. Yeah. Iron Drakes are solid. Yeah. They're not the
so
best.
There you go. So they cannot be in the C slot.
Yeah, they can because they're also kind of Uggs too and old. You know what I'm saying? So it's like whatever. Like
no, but okay. So let's talk about it from a model range perspective, right? The model range is old, so the sculpts are not up to date as it is currently. So I definitely say it could use some work. But from a monetary perspective, it's cheap. You can pick up a lot of these armies for dirt cheap all over the place, right?
Yeah.
Right?
Sure.
And then from a competitive level, for a beginner player, I don't think it's something that I would say I would push them into because one, the model range is not as exciting, and two, I think they have to do a lot more with the army. They can't take the base book. They'll have to buy a couple other books and bring in other models in to make that the unit effective. That's in my opinion. So yes, if you look at the book as a pure just book by itself, I'd say it does lack a lot. But when you put it into a competitive list build where you're adding in the allies, I think it's definitely in the double A category. Like it will jump up real fast. Right.
Double A rule.
Yeah.
Oh God. Oh, this is some great inflation right here. This is.
I don't know. I think it's a very effective list army to build around.
I like Cities of Sigmar, but there's a lot of junk in there, and there's a lot of even the best list. I think is still just all right, to be honest. Like Lumineth does what Phoenix Guard wishes it could do.
I guess. I don't know. All right, and then we have right next to Lumineth, we have what? The Savages?
These Bone Splitters.
Bone Splitters? Yeah.
Just completely irrelevant.
Yeah, we're still getting... I don't know who...
Shadow Warriors are good. That's a Shadow Warriors
is, but he's all about the cities, and I agree. I think there's a lot in...
Sounds like a Mike Simeon or Richard Joshua, maybe.
Hollow Heart.
Okay.
Yeah, he keeps on coming, man. Hollow Heart.
That's cool. Hollow Heart is good. I mean, it's good.
I did play against Hollow Heart. It's easy to take apart, though.
Yeah, it's not that crazy, really. Like that phase is crazy, but then once you're past that, mobility is not very good, right? Like, durability is not that good, so it's like there's a lot of flaws to it, right? So, Bone Splitters, I don't really have very much to say.
Bone Splitters. They used to have the Cunning Rock, right? The Cunning Rock was the big thing.
They still have it.
and they
think they
still have
have
it. It's just not as effective,
just-
right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And
So
it's kind of a boring game. It was a pretty boring army even to play in its heyday too. I just move, I just shoot everything, I blow it all off the table, and then that's it. Right? It's like okay, a lot of feel bads about that, right? So, and there's only really like 5 models in the whole range, right?
but
like
I think the big wog, if you take the big wog and you add in some of the Iron Jaws unit, then it becomes really effective.
Yeah, but that's in the A category next to your corn.
There you go.
There you go.
Oh yeah, there
so
it is. There it is.
There it is.
So Bone Spitters, yeah, I totally agree. Actually, I put Bone Spitters in D.
D. Oh, I debated that. You got any?
I think they
any
could.
feeling about
I think Beast Skull Raiders could take Bone Spitters' spot right now, and Bone Spitters can come down to D level.
Whoa. That's fine.
We gotta put those Beast Skull Raiders up there, man. They can't be down there.
Oh, they are down there. They're down there.
All right.
I can move them to F5.
And then you put Slaves to Darkness in the C slot.
Yeah, correct.
With Hedonites or Slanesh? You know, at one point, Slanesh was in the S slot.
It was.
You remember those days when Slanesh was unbeatable?
Yeah. I mean, that was me, man. That was me.
Days when the world was upside down for me.
That was me before the book came out. I was on top of the world. Nobody knew about Slanesh. Nobody understood.
Yes. That hit twice.
Slanesh still has great summoning in the game. The Keeper of Secrets is fast. It hits hard. I don't think it belongs in C actually.
Well, you know, I think they just took many pegs down. Like they got debuffed a lot. Like their summoning table basically doubled in price or more.
But I think if you take Shaleski build, then it's not impacted by that nerf, right? Something like that. I remember in White Dwarf.
But I think we're looking like we have to look at the book as a whole, right? That's
you're talking not Shaleski, you're talking about Celeste.
Yeah,
that's illegal now.
Yeah,
it's illegal.
Celeste is, that's illegal now because it wasn't in GHB 2020.
Oh yeah. So it got overwritten.
Oh yeah, so it's not allowed. Yeah. If you took Celeste's thing, then yeah. But that might be in a new Mortals book, so you never know. So maybe they can go back. Yeah. Well, yes, slaves. I just think it's mostly an art. It's just there. You know, if you're gonna play, I'm playing a slaves army. It's like, am I scared? Probably not. I mean, it'll be good, but it's not like I'm scared. You know what I'm saying? Or it's like, you know, I got to really worry a lot about what's in this list. It's like, okay, that's fine. How many Marauders you got? You know, or how many Demon Princes you have? Okay, that's fine. Like, you know, I think it's there, but it's manageable. But it's like, you know, it'll be a good one. C's not bad. By the way.
So it says that the Hedonist and Celeste army is legal in the compendium.
The Celeste, Celeste thing.
Yeah.
Compendium doesn't count though, right? That's not allowed. That's stuff that's like not max play legal, though, isn't it?
I don't know. I'm not. I thought that when the general handbook comes out, whatever's in the handbook is what's allowed to play unless it's FAQ. So
I think if it's in compendium, then it's not considered Hedonite anymore, right?
Okay.
So it's just like if you want to play them, you can, but then they're like. You play them in a chaos army, I guess. I don't know. Like I don't know. It's not clearly legal, so I wouldn't bank on that. But yeah. But I love Hedonites. I mean, like in terms of the model range, like the Keeper is probably the best greater demon in my view in terms of the model.
I beg you.
It embodies.
I don't even hear that. But anyway.
What's that?
So, okay, Slaves to Darkness. So, in the C, we got Cities, which I disagree with. Bone Spitters, I agree with. Slaves to Darkness, I give you that, no problem. Hedonist and Slanesh, seeing how far they've fallen, I put them in the C slot right now. I don't think that they're less competitive than some of the other armies higher up than them, but I think they've been taking nerf back to. They've been.
But then you could put them in a B or A probably. Then I wouldn't put them in A, but maybe.
I think they're B or A. I think they are pretty.
I don't know what's going on. Yeah. Okay.
Well, this guy says that in the GHB FAQ they're Tomb Select. So maybe
they're okay.
But I regardless, I don't know if that one build makes the book overall a competitive book, right? So we'll
The
leave
one
that.
that breaks my heart is
I don't think they belong to C. I think maybe in the A slot for the Hedonism Slanesh. So because they are a little bit, they are still very competitive. I mean, they can be very competitive. The summoning itself is what the competitive level, right? And the speed that they have is pretty good. So I don't know. And then you got Gloomspite Gits in the
breaks
C
my heart to
slot.
see this.
Hmm.
Breaks my heart to say this, but I think they're
Well,
steals.
Yuri, you play some Gloomspite. What do you think?
I do. So Gloomspite has a diversified build. This army has a character in general. It's an amazing looking army. You can build growth list, you can build squig list, you can build spider list, or the troll list.
Yeah.
Probably none of them are competitive today, but it's a lots of fun to play with this army. I think one of the biggest nerf that they've got was the limit of the endless spell that you can take. This army relied heavily on the endless spell and magic in general. So I would agree it's probably somewhere in B or even C tier,
Yeah.
which is a shame. It's a great looking army.
Yeah,
It's beautiful, man.
once again, like when we talk about these tiers, we're talking about them at this moment in time, right?
Yeah.
This could
Yeah.
change within the next 6 months. We're looking at new GHB coming
Hey,
out, or we're looking at AOS 3.0 coming out, right? So
spiders could be amazing. You know what
yeah,
I'm
they
saying?
could be. We're looking at it at this moment in time, right now, right? So I think Gloomspite will actually be a good army to build, collect, because goblins never go away. They're always like a big part of the world, and they will come back. They will have their day in the sun again, right? So I
Yeah.
think they've
Yeah.
always been around, and there's a lot of love for them. So I think they'll be good army to build, collect, if you really are into AOS. So
My biggest disappointment, and I would love for them to be amazing, is Gobblepalooza. Oh,
Yeah.
those models have so much character. I just love every single one of them as models. But in game, like the points cost for them, it's just absurd.
Yeah.
No, no, thank you.
And plus
What are we talking
and plus you have to take a battalion to reduce
Yeah.
the drop and more reliable.
Yeah, it's insane. Like, no, like, what are we talking about? But I would love to just for the Gobblepalooza to be good, because I would just love to see them on the table. They're so nice, right? But it is what it is at this point, you know.
yeah.
All right, Rahul, Matrabs, IG, IJ.
Well,
Bema.
I love my more tribes. I think more.
It's the destruction tier B.
Yeah, it's a full destruction, and this is where I live. I love destruction. I think no matter what, if you are seriously going to AOS and you just want to have fun, destruction is the way to be. Like, just sit in destruction. There's a lot of cool models, really cool builds, and you can have a lot of fun. If you just don't want to, if you just want to have fun and you want to have a good time, you want to go out and just shoot the shit, hang out with friends, and have a good time, destruction is the way to go, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And then when looking at it, I mean, you got more tribes, which I think are really, really good in their own right. It's hard to bring down 12 Ogre Bulls. If you take 3 units of 12 Ogre Bulls into that list, they're a tough army to take down. Because Ogre Bulls can do exactly what other units can do. They can hold on objectives. They can pound the shit out of anything that comes next to them. They may not be as resilient as some of the other armies, but they'll surprise a lot of units. And then when you take Gobble screens or Grot screens for them, they are really good as a tactical army to play with, in my opinion. So that's more tribes. And then obviously my first love, which is Iron Jaws, always has it's what the army that got me back into the game, right?
That's right. I always say that this is the best beginner kind of army for.
Yeah, the starter box for this army is like so effective. It gives you everything you need. You buy a couple of starter boxes.
And then Maw Crusher, and you're good
and
to
a
go,
Maw
right?
Crusher,
Yeah.
and you're good to go. One Maw Crusher, 2 starter boxes, or 3 starter boxes, and you're good to go. This army is ready to go.
It's got a lot going for it, and they are such nice sculpts. They really evolved the Black Orc aesthetic, really, in a nice way, and I think it's a fantastic range. Now, B is not a bad score. Like B, I think is very good. The only thing that holds it back for me is really just we've seen Iron Jaws have kind of a drought, right, in terms of competitiveness, and that's because you've got like 4 scrolls or 5 scrolls really to kind of like choose from. So like you can't really adjust very much, right? So that's the big pitfall, right? So it's like, all right, well, I guess I suck now and I can't do anything about it, right? It's like, okay.
When we talk about B, I think when you go into a tournament, you're playing a 5-game tournament. I think these armies win 3 out of 5 games easy. Right, they can be up there. 3 out of 5 games should be something that you aim for with the B level armies right there.
I would think that's reasonable. Yeah. The only thing that's really stand out on in this B tier, in my opinion, is Fire Slayers. Because actually, competitively, they probably do better than that. 3 out of 5.
I 100% agree with you. They belong either in A or AA because they fight first. They fight twice. They have 4-up ward save. Their only weakness is missions, right? Yeah. Nothing else.
Yeah.
Yeah. So in terms of on the table, but I would say try building and painting that army, and then you'll see why no one plays this army because it is just painful. Like it's just worse.
Boring. Yeah. I agree.
so yeah, like if you want to be bored to tears of building and painting it, a bunch of like naked men with orange beards, and then like play the bunch of naked men, and it's just naked men all the time. It's like, well, it holds it back from that aesthetic, from that perspective. But in game, whoa, buddy.
So I want to ask you a question. Why do you put Nurgle as B?
Nurgle is B. Nurgle, they can. I think competitively they're just okay to good.
I wouldn't call them B. I think they're in the C. They're nowhere in B. I wouldn't put them in B at all. I think they're worse.
Nurgle.
I'd rather pick Slaves to Darkness than Nurgle.
Yeah.
Oh, no, I would disagree. But everything in Slaves to Darkness can be a Nurgle, right? And then get the benefit of being a Nurgle. So
Yuri, what do you think?
I think that with Nurgle, the only competitive list would be with the Blight Kings. Everything else belongs in C, maybe D even.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think Nurgle has a good, strong
cold as ice. Build. It's cold as ice.
Yeah, because even if you take the scariest, the stupid 3 Papa Puff list, it's not that hard to play against.
Oh, well, I would disagree. That's quite good still. And what you do is you just ally in Be'lakor, and bada bing, you're looking pretty good. But
let's not talk about Be'lakor because we're not talking about allies in right now. Because
okay, fine. But like I'm just saying that like
absolutely that much better, right?
Everybody gets Be'lakor. But Nurgle for sure, has it's got probably one of the most extensive scroll availability. Like it has a ton of scrolls available. Like if you have to add in Skaven Pestilence and you add in what's available with Slave to Darkness, in addition to its own book, and it's got quite a few options for you to build, right? So yeah, I mean competitively it can kind of vary, but
Yeah, I think you need a new book for Nurgle, essentially.
Yeah, I think Nurgle, like as it stands currently, I think Nurgle is in the C, and that's on the best side of it, I think. Yeah.
Before you could take a Plague Monks, now it's not, the optimal build for Nurgle.
Well, they've got all new allegiance abilities basically and battalions in the Wrath of the Ever-Chosen book. So
yeah, but you would take Marauders. Lots of Marauders instead.
Yeah, and that'd be good.
Yeah.
That'd be
just
good
give them the Nurgle, but it's not essentially the Nurgle army, right? Nurgle has
Nurgle. They can run in charge that way.
Anyway, so I don't know. I think the Nurgle book as a whole, I think it belongs lower in the tier than it is right now.
Sure. Okay, that's fine. We'll keep moving
I
on.
agree. Fire Slayers should be higher up in tier. Even though they are very, when I look at a Fire Slayer army, it's just more of the same. You just see the same across the board, so it's a little bit tough.
It's boring.
Yeah,
it's also expensive
and
too,
then
man. Like, those boxes are expensive. Like,
so
I don't want to discount that.
Yuri, here's the one after Yonhat, the Sons of Behemoth. They are in the B slot. Do you agree with that?
That's a good question, Rahul, because it's a new army. We haven't seen lots of tournaments. I would say, based on my experience, it's a 3-2 type of army, and I don't think it's gonna be hard to get 4-1 with this army. So I would potentially move it to the A, like somewhere in between low A, high B tier.
Okay, so let's see. So in the A
So
slot,
before-
you got.
So before this show, Yuri's like, too many levels, and now it's like, now I need another level, high B, low A. Which is it, Yuri? Come on.
Yeah, So let's talk about Sons of Behemoth. So let's see, against the big war against Sons of Behemoth, I don't know. I think big war. The Sons of Behemoth beat the snot out of the big war.
They actually can destroy OBR, and OBR is a very competitive army. And the reason why I'm saying that is because OBR is very resilient army, but it cannot essentially kill Sons of Behemoth.
And I think they'll wipe the floor with Skaven.
Whoa. Wipe the floor. Wipe the floor.
Yeah, wipe the floor, because if they stand on an objective, no matter how many rats you put on, they'll never get 30 rats onto an objective.
They gotta be alive.
Oh, they'll die in droves.
With a 35 wounds and 4-up save.
Exactly.
They will.
Good luck being dead in turn 1.
Okay, you can take your Skaven love with you out the door, man. Like, I think Sons of Behemoth will wipe the floor with Skaven.
You're just lucky that
actually, if you don't take Giselle's, you can build a shooting list with Skaven, and I think these big rats. What's their
Stormfiends?
I think they're back. Yeah, Stormfiends are back as well, right? And they do a lot of output shooting. But if you go against the conventional Skaven list, like, I agree with Rahul, they would wipe the floor with them.
That is a conventional Skaven
list. I mean, Stormfiends, they may be able to shoot a lot, but if they don't bring this guy down, he'll wipe the floor with them.
Eventually,
disagree. No.
Okay, you know what? We're gonna have these matchups. You gotta write these down. You gotta put SOB versus Skaven.
Yeah, I've got this in my grudge book.
Yeah, put it in the grudge book. Like, you should open, because I don't think Sons of Behemoth would have trouble with Skaven too much.
Okay, you know what? I'll even go one hand behind my back. I'll take a 0 shooting army. I'll still wipe the floor with Sons of Behemoth. We'll take an all Skaven Pestilence army, and then we'll say good luck to the Sons of Behemoth.
This one we need to have a throwdown for sure. Okay, so
I think Rahul Kron and Sons of Behemoth is still on the on my priority list, but then we definitely can have a.
See, I'm not too sure that Korn could take out the Sons of Behemoth.
It's okay. I mean, so every army has bad matchups, right? But it doesn't mean that they are, just because you're in a tier above doesn't mean that you don't have a bad matchup below.
Yeah,
right?
but when I look at it, like, even if I took I have a saving grace in that my Juggernauts have to do a lot of the work in that. If I was playing my list against Sons of Behemoth, like, I've been playing it in my head, right? I've been looking at how effective my list would be against them. It would be very tough. It would be a very tough matchup for Korn. Because of the amount of bodies that they can put on an objective, and Korn doesn't have that counter, right? So
you got bodies.
What about the Juggernaut list?
Yeah, I mean, the Juggernauts would do the work. Like, Juggernauts could take down a giant in a turn if they wanted to.
Right? I heard Koggernauts, not the Juggernauts. Okay.
Yeah. Koggernauts would get big speed bumps.
Because I remember playing against you with my troll list, and trolls do, lots of damage as well. But you tabled the army with a juggernaut, so maybe they got a shot. But I don't know.
Well,
We need to have.
it would be a tight matchup. It would be a really interesting matchup anyway. Stormcast Eternals, they have a lot of shooting, so they can be pretty effective.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. Sons of Behemoth, I think I'll put them in the A category probably, not in B.
Yeah. Me too.
So
You're both a destruction player, filth.
Hey, destruction's gotta have some love.
Yeah, you got Big W up. You already got Big W up there.
I know we got Big Wog, and Big Wog, I agree, is very, very versatile. It's a really, really fun build and very versatile army to play.
Yeah, it's so good. Do you take Wartrack though in that list?
I don't know. There's so many. There's the double Stone Idol list. There's so many. Like there's the More Crusher Stone Idol list. The teleportation, the amount of generation of command points, and then there's so many abilities with the Big Wog. So
it's really great. It's a really great army.
Yeah, and then we got Khorne, and I'm a Khorne player like through and through. So the thing about Khorne is it's a pretty old book right now, but what saves Khorne is that their trick, or the Blood Tide, is very effective. It's still a very powerful mechanic, and the fact that Khorne has so many scrolls to pull from, we can build so many different armies and play with so many different units. So whenever you see a Khorne list, it's hard to see more of the same. You get to see a lot of variety in the list. So I think Khorne is a very fun army to collect because it's just got so much variation to it. So it's a lot of fun.
And GW's always supported Khorne very well in terms of model range, and especially when Age of Sigmar came out, they were one of the first to get real love from the company. Yeah. So they haven't been abandoned like some of the other ones that are kind of didn't get any love for a long time. So Khorne is good, continues to be good, and if they start becoming not good, GW will do something to make sure that they stay in the hunt. So I think you're well served to serve the blood god, as it were.
Yeah. And then who doesn't like cannibals anyway? They're all good.
Yeah, you love cannibals. You only play cannibals.
And then we got Stormcast Eternals, and they deserve to be here because, well, they were the pain in my neck for a long time, and then they went away, and now they come back again. Oh,
they're back. They were never really gone, I guess. Like they may have dropped down a bit, but GW, I think one of the big things that really happened is the points drop. They're like the only army that got like at minimum 10% drops, like in GHB 2020 across the board, right? That can't be overstated. Like every scroll basically went down, right? Even ones that didn't need to go down, like Aether Wings. Like, why did those go down? Just because. It's like, why? Aether Wings are just redonkulously good. They're just amazing, right? And they're
that mechanic of theirs is just terrible. Like, oh my god, my Juggernaut army suffered so much because 2 Aether Wings just touched them 3 inches out, couldn't pile in, couldn't kill them. Was so annoying. And then they got shot up with the long strikes. It was crazy.
Exactly. But Stormcast, I think, are always in it.
And then we got Skaven. Yep. I don't know, man. I don't know if Skaven is as competitive as it used to be.
I think it's dropped down in competitiveness for sure. I mean, they've taken lots of nerfs. Like the Plague Monks took nerfs, points and 1-up on things. But I take this more from a scroll, availability, and also the cost of collecting, because there's a lot of Skaven that are floating around that are quite cheap to collect. And there's so if the game goes shooting heavy, we can do that. If the game goes horde heavy, we can do that. If it goes elite, we can do that, right? So Skaven can play magic heavy armies. They can play whatever way, almost like a Swiss Army knife here, right? So I think that's what really gets on there. But yeah, for now, I don't think that they're as competitive as other armies in this kind of level, right? But they're still quite solid. So.
And then we got OBR. What's your take on this, Yuri?
Well, that's a very good question. Actually, as you know, OBR got nerfed with the Petrifex Elite. I still think the Petrifex Elite is the strongest legion in the army.
Whoa.
If you don't take Catacross, because the bludgeon ability, giving an additional rend, is very powerful. However, if you take Catacross, the strongest one would be Mortis Praetorian, and they still can the entire army can get +1 to their save roll. So it's essentially an old Petrifex Elite Legion, but without the bludgeon. Right, I think it's still very powerful army. The catapults is the strength of the army. The Mortec guards are the backbone of the army, and the Goddess or Harvester that brings guys back is essentially also a very valuable dude to have in your army. So I would, I still think it's an A-tier army. It's obviously not an S-tier army as it was, but it's a very strong and very competitive army.
Yeah, I agree. What about you, Wee?
Well, I agree with that, but I also want to throw in that I think Null Myriad is a pretty good is pretty good as well. So I wouldn't say that you have to it. The nerf to Petrifex basically meant that you weren't stupid for not taking Petrifex, because they became a lot more viable just because it's Petrifex was such a dumb easy choice to make that all the other ones are why are you here? But now there's legit reasons to take a Null Myriad, right? If you're really
this is
worried
about against magic. If some of the viewers don't know,
exactly. So 5 up. That's right. Oh, I'm affected by magic. Okay, 5 up. See you later. And now it's a 5 up, but hey, that's pretty good. That's a 1 in 3 chance of nullifying, techless or whatever, right? That's not bad, right?
Yeah, but you can even bump it up to 2 up for the command point, for the relentless discipline point. You can even make it better.
Yeah, I'm just saying innately, but yeah, you're right. Yeah, you can bump it up. So it's
no magic, no effect on any spell, which is
and that's really rough.
Yeah, I think OBR is still a very competitive list. And the models are cool. They have a lot of models too.
Do you have a Catacross there, Yuri, or no?
Do I have Catacross?
Yeah. You don't have an OBR, right?
I do. I actually started collecting OBR because of the Catacross. I fell in love with the model, and I think in general, with regards to terrain piece, this army, the Bone Tile Nexus, is the best terrain piece in the entire game in terms of the functionality and what it does. So,
in terms of effects.
Yeah, it has good effects. It is a good effective terrain piece.
Yeah.
Is it the best? Is it the best?
I think it's got 3 different options on it, right? So it has play a lot
4,
in the game.
4, 1 for each corner.
4, okay.
Wouldn't it be a shame if someone were to desecrate it?
Yes, that would be shameful. I know. just the guy beneath in the tier.
The SOB is okay, we'll take care of this. All right, and then we have Flesh Eater Quartz. So
yes,
100%.
You can't disagree with that rule. Get
I can't. I mean, I still think my Flesh Eater Quartz build, which is different from the Terrorgeist and the big Flappy Bird. I think my list is very effective. It's super effective.
But you got Royal Mordants in there, right?
I don't know. I think even my FEC list could really give the Sons of Behemoth a really nasty run. Yeah.
Yeah, well, if you roll 4 6s or something with your Kumquat, it would be pretty rough.
No, I don't even have one of those, right? I have with the 12 with my 12 layers, and then my 9 with Crypt Horrors, that Royal Mordant list, right? It's so fast, right? I move 28 inches before I before I charge, right? So it's like I can get wherever I want to go really quick. Oh, sorry, yeah, 28 inches. So I can move across the board. I can attack you from any way I want, and also I can teleport. So it's a really, really fast army, right?
Mm.
And the fact that
It's incredible.
SOB doesn't have like good magic defense means I can get my spells off too, right? So bringing up the chalice, there's a lot of nasty stuff in the Flesh Eater Quartz build.
I like how Sons of Bahamut has become like the standard. I was like, okay, what? Like it's like how much of a challenge can you give the Sons of Bahamut? It's like what?
One will like yeah, of course, because like it's currently because I have never played against them. It's like currently top of mind right now. Yeah, but even if I was looking at Luminate Realm Lords, I think Flesh Eater Quartz would give them a run as well because they are suspect to mortal wounds. Hence, FEC does have a lot of mortal wound output.
So, yeah, no, I mean you're in an A class, right? And it would be competitive.
Yeah,
but they are quite good. So what are you gonna do? But yeah, Flesh Eater Quartz is still quite good. More cannibals though, bro. More cannibals. You and your
cannibals. I love cannibals. It's all good.
You do something about cannibals. You just that's a movie. I think.
And we're going to the double A's now. So what does double A stand for? Like better than A?
It is better than A. Some would say it's twice as good as A.
Okay.
That's right.
We got KO here.
Yeah. That's right.
Got Ethernet Deepkin. We have Luminate Realm Lords and we have Daughters of Cain.
Yeah.
So let's see. Except for Luminate Realm Lords, I've played against all these armies.
Even the new versions of them? The new versions of KO?
Yeah. Have I played against the new version? When did the new version come out? Like earlier this year, right?
No, it was last year, I want to say.
Yeah.
Yeah, so here, yeah.
I think that I haven't played them recently, so I would say that they're okay. But I think if you have multiple units, KO gets less effective. So I don't know. It depends on how you build your list.
Yeah,
it depends on how you build your list, but the shooting is prodigious. It is quite.
They will be very effective against the Suns.
They can die pretty fast.
Yeah.
So.
Yuri, what were you saying?
I'm saying they're gonna be super effective against Sons of Behemoth for sure.
Oh yeah, this is the worst matchup for Sons of Behemoth. Because they shoot you and they fly high, and you're like, "Where'd you go?" Right? It's like, and they just drop down and just like blow up the other guy, right? So it's just brutal. But that's our Sons of Behemoth standard right there. I think that they're interesting and they're quite scary. Even before the book, I mean, Alex. I don't know what his last name is. Is it Alex from Capital
Alex,
City when we went?
Yeah.
He won with that, right? So and the book has gotten better. So what are you gonna say about that, right? Like, all right, I guess results matter, right? So I got to give respect where respect is due. And the models are really nice. I mean, they are a very unique look. Flying dwarves are cool, I guess, in their own way. Steampunk dwarves. So, I mean, like Yuri, what do you think of the look of KO?
Oh, I love it. I'm actually really happy that such a faction exists in this game.
Yeah. When they came out, it was just like, wow. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I like the steampunk theme in general, and this is a great looking army. Yeah.
I mean, So, I think it checks a lot of boxes for me in terms of competitiveness and look, and you got different stuff. I wish there was a little bit more variety in the War Scrolls, to be honest, but it's not bad, but it could be a little better, but it's still, that's probably the only thing, right? But they're pretty awesome.
Yeah, and then we got Ethernet Deepkin. I think it's solid army book all the way around. So I have no complaints putting them up here.
I think if I'd like to add with regards to IDK, I think this army is outrageously good. It's very balanced. It's very solid. It performs meta changes, but this army, always stays on the top. And
what the hell?
especially with the recent change, where with a Leviathan, you have to shoot him, and he's 2-up unrendable. This completely negates the shooting, right? Plus, they have the strong offensive unit. So I think it's a very balanced army, and it's a very strong army. I would move it to the S tier probably.
Whoa,
right?
controversy.
So, but
Now
that's
we're calling the S tier for shenanigans, right?
Oh yes,
shenanigans.
maximum shenanigans.
Like for me, like when I put S tier, I don't think IDK is shenanigans. I think IDK is a well balanced, really good fighting force that is not overly broken, and I think it plays well in the game, right? So I think leaving it AA is where it needs to be. It's at the highest tier where it's competitive but not broken, in my opinion. That's what the S stands for, right? Where it's like.
Yeah.
It's a little bit too much autopilot right there, right? So,
yeah, fair enough.
So I think, I totally agree. It's a very, very competitive build. I think you'll be, it's a beautiful army to look at too. It's got some really nice aesthetics to it, and it plays really well on the table. And then we've got Lumineth Realm Lords.
Yeah, Lumineth. Yeah.
Yeah.
The mountain cow army.
With a
god with a weird face.
I remember my reaction when I first saw these models, and I remember my post on Conquest Gaming Club. I said the nastiest and ugliest looking army I've ever seen. And I stay by that statement. I hate this army's look. I love elves. I'm waiting for Tyrion to come out so bad. Like I want a Cav elf army so bad. But
you tell me a 20-man unit of Sentinels doesn't look good, like amazing, or like Dawn Riders.
The problem is it's the army as a whole, not just one unit, right? Like
I'm just saying, like most of the army looks good. The ugliest model is that chick with the big goblet thing with like the sheer and the.
I don't know. Just when I saw the goat man and the hillbilly giant goat and everything, I was just like,
that's their god rule. Okay, that's spirit. That's his mountain spirit. Okay.
Yeah, I just can't handle it. It was just too much for me. I just took a back seat right there. So yeah, I've watched a couple. I've actually watched quite a few battle reports with the Lumineth Realm Lords. Jordan's recent one that he had against Seraphon, Techless inside the Lumineth Realm Lord build.
We can take Techless though.
Yeah, I know. I mean, it's really powerful. Like Techless is crazy. That actually Techless is Searing Light. It reminds me of Comet. It's like so brutal, right? When it comes down, it can do so much damage. So
yeah, that's a lot more wounds.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, I also had few games against this army. I mostly faced the cow version list. Umatrica, right? I think like it's a very balanced army. I think that the cow list is not the most competitive one. If you want to build the competitive one, you'd go with the Vanari Sentinels and Vanari Wardens. And it's and
Dawn Riders for objective grabbing, right?
Sorry,
they're fast. Dawn Riders for the speed, right?
Yeah, and you have to have a short cavalry for the speed. I wouldn't take lots of units of the Dawn Riders. You obviously throw in the Cathalar in there. She's great wizard and a great buff unit. Very, I think it's placed in the AA tier for sure.
Yeah, 100%. And if you notice, AA tier is dominated by elves, so. Yeah.
It's all Techless's fingerprints all over this. The rejects and his golden boys over here.
Yeah, and then you got Daughters of Cain, which is like phenomenal right now.
Daughters of Cain are amazing. Morathi, the new Morathi is like.
Yeah, it's just
worth every.
Yeah, like the AA is like if you really want to play competitive and you like any of the looks of these armies, this is the way to go. 100%.
You'll not go wrong, and they all look really nice too. Like they're in their own way. They look amazing. They play amazing. There's almost nothing wrong with them. The only thing I would say out of all 4 of them, they all have a sort of semi-limited like range. They're not like Stormcast Eternal or Corn or
but I think they're very effective for their range, though. Right?
Both, like scroll for scroll, like poof, very effective. Absolutely.
Right, and then we got the shenanigans tier. So let's talk about this. So Seraphon, when I saw your list and I saw Seraphon up there, it piqued my interest. So I went immediately to watch a battle report because I had no idea what Seraphon was all about because I have not played the new Seraphon army yet. But then I saw the effectiveness of variety of their models. Like you got the Pterodons, Salamanders. These kinks are crazy good right now.
Kinks are so good, and they're so cheap,
and they're so deadly. Like you take big blobs of skinks, and they can do a lot of damage with the mortal wound output. And they're pretty heavy in their magic phase. So I think this army is. So why make it? Why is
and
it
also Croak, bro? Also Croak.
I know.
Yeah, no, it's an army that can do literally everything.
Yeah.
You want to shoot? Let's shoot. You want to play Magic? Let's do it. You want to play Hordes? No problem. You want to play Elites? No problem. And they can do it all in the same list. They don't even have to compromise. It's just like literally, I can build the army that could take all of those things on in every phase, and I can hang. That's really like it checks all the boxes. The only thing it doesn't check is some old ass sculpts. You know what I'm saying? Like Crocozole and Croxagores and shit like that. But
yeah, a lot of the build is fine cast, which I don't like either. So
yeah. But is this army you think is really overpowered and belong to the S tier? Because Salamanders got nerfed recently, right? Lord Croak, he has like 7 wounds. He can pass wounds, so let's say 14 wounds. So Luminarth or OBR or let's say Stormcast Internal can shoot off Lord Croak turn 1, and then
I mean, it's not. There's just because you're an S tier doesn't mean that you win every game. But let's say
I don't think Seraphon is broken. I think Seraphon is the double A.
Like Slanesh used to be. Slanesh, he used to be in double S tier probably.
I think you probably need to play Seraphon.
Seraphon is very balanced army. I don't think it's like overpowered.
I don't know about balanced. I mean, it can do everything. It can teleport. It can summon. It can shoot. It can fight. It can do everything. It's like it's the Swiss Army knife of the world.
It is amazing. It can
and like we said, it can bring it all in one list. It doesn't have to split it up.
But at the same time, this army doesn't have the strongest magic. This army doesn't have the strongest shooting. This army doesn't have the strongest summoning. This army doesn't have the strongest combat, right? So it's not an overpowered in any of those ways.
No, I don't think it belongs in the S. I think it belongs to double A. I would put Seraphon down to double A.
Yeah.
If it was Yuri, maybe like a high double A or a low S.
Oh, here we go again.
I don't know. I think a double A probably. I think it's a good build. But I haven't played against it, so I don't know. And what I've seen is really from battle reports. But even that battle report against Jordan, the Seraphon player in the first 2 turns almost wiped. He brought Jordan down to a couple of models, but then Teclis just took out the whole army by himself. Yeah, so it's pretty it was pretty disgusting to watch. Yeah,
I'll just say that Seraphon. I think you guys need to play a really tuned Seraphon army, and you'll see the power of Seraphon. It's quite.
Oh no, I played Seraphon before when it was still disgusting, right?
Yeah, it was disgusting before. Now it's even
the Thunderquake build was the nastiest build I ever played against. Right, it was very tough to play against.
Yeah.
But in this, you can still summon, right? They still have good summoning.
Yeah. They got summoning. It's not the best because you got to give up magic, but if you need to, do it.
Yeah.
Right. But they can do everything. I think it's an amazing army. But even more amazing than that is the Tzeentch. The Disciple of Tzeentch. Oh,
LRL is S tier. That's why.
LRL is what? S tier? Oh.
Yeah.
Maybe. I had to see them more just to put them in the S tier.
Lumina.
Yeah, it's possible.
I don't know. I think the mortal wound, the fact that they can't take a lot of mortal wound, puts them down there, puts them back in double A. Because
it's quite close though. Yeah.
But I don't think even Seraphon can handle mortal wounds either. So, well, they do. They have Basilisk and stuff, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah. But Tzeentch though, this is the best army in the game.
Tzeentch is just stupid because of the pink horrors. The fact that your 10-man, a 10 unit of pinks gives you 70 wounds on the field of battle. And that's just ridiculous, right?
Is it though, Rahul?
It is. It's disgusting.
Is it though?
Yeah,
is it disgusting?
I mean, I've learned how to deal with it, but still, it's disgusting. It's the most build.
I think in terms of flexibility with everything, yeah. Yeah, go ahead, Yuri.
Yeah, probably you're gonna disagree with me, but I don't think that the Tzeentch belongs in the S tier, and I'll tell you why. Because recently, both horrors and flamers have gone in points. The God Summoner can only summon 5 pinks instead of 10. It's I think it's a very huge nerf. Plus, with the tackless on the table, Tzeentch is not a dominant caster anymore.
Whoa.
So, yeah. So
well,
I think
the problem is you're talking about tackless. So how many points is tackless anyway?
600.
600 points, right? But you can put Fate Weaver and a lot of change in there, and you got Destiny dice. You got a lot of things going on with Tzeentch besides just magic in its own right? And the fact that your base level unit, which is a horrors unit, yes, it's expensive, but it gives you 70 wounds for a 10-man squad.
No, I think it's 50, right?
No, so
50.
10, 20. No, isn't it 2 blues? Yeah, 50
2 blues,
for a 10-man, yeah. Right? But that's without you bringing them back, right?
Yeah, that's right.
So you can effectively milk that unit out, right?
You love milking it.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. That's just my view. Like before Flamers and Pink Horse didn't go up in points. Obviously, it was overpowered. God Summoner can 250 point model can find summon 200 point unit. That was like a shenanigan. That was something. But now I think it's more or less balanced. Obviously, it's a very strong army. It's a double A tier, but S tier, I don't know. That's my personal view.
Well, that means there's no S tier at all, Yuri.
which is really great, and I really like it. That the game is becoming very balanced because it's like a living organism that is adjusting, right? Which is very before it was the game was being adjusted by the points. Now it's being adjusted by the war scrolls with the recent releases of the books, which is I think GW is doing an exceptional job, and it means that they're listening to our feedbacks, and that's just my observation overall.
So Yuri, one thing I would say to that is I think competitive, so there's a view on competitiveness and how well an army dominates, which is like a big factor in like how I came up with these tiers. But the other big factor is aesthetically. I think Tzeentch has some great models, and the range that's available for Tzeentch is quite extensive, right? So you can.
Well, LRL is S tier. He keeps on saying it, and but I don't know.
Rahul's too scared to. I put him at double A, but maybe I'll be proven wrong when if my ship gets pushed in. But I'm playing Tzeentch, so I will see how that's possible.
We'll use Yuri's analogy. We'll be with them low S.
Low S, high double A.
Right. Compromise.
So what we need to see is I think the Khorne ride and play our Gatekeeper army of the Sons of Behemoth. That's everybody has to play the Sons of Behemoth for Bulldog Hammer. That's the minimum, right? And to prove everyone that's above the Sons of Behemoth has to play them, just to say, fine, if you can beat us, then on the channel, then you belong. Otherwise, you don't. Right?
That sounds like a plan.
Yuri's like, Oh no! How many armies do you have to face now?
No, he doesn't have to paint him. I'm saying he's playing someone's better, man. He needs challengers, man.
He
He needs to play those guys.
Well, I have a flesh eater course ready to go. I got a corn army ready to go, and I got a Seraphon army on its way.
That's right. So you got Seraphon, I got Zinch and Haven. We're ready to roll.
Between just the two of us, you got like 5 games lined up right there.
Don't worry, Yuri. We'll come.
Or you can join the forces, like Zinch, Corn against Sons of Behemoth. Let's do that. 4,000 point army against 2,000.
I don't like his Hexforger skulls. They bother me too much. The stupid Hexforgers. I'm crying blood. Oh, look at me. I'm
versus destruction.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, maybe one day we'll have to line something else like that. But we are 2 people off from my Rahul cast for the thing, so maybe we can line it up later.
Yeah.
You know? We need Levin and we need Andy, and then we'll have the full Rahul. So, do you know what I mean? You know what I mean, Yuri?
The full Rahul. What does that mean? I don't know.
Yeah. Full Rahul is this: R for Rahul, A for Andy, H for we, U for Yuri, and L for Levin.
Yuri. When did Yuri become a U?
Well, it sounds like
okay. Sounds like Yuri. Okay.
And also Levin. Yeah.
It's a Rahul show. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We're this close.
Big capital letters, all the capital letters.
Yeah.
That's right. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, you like it, eh, Rahul?
Yes, I do. Sure, I do. Yeah.
All right. Well, I think we're basically gone through the whole
at least we
tier
didn't
list.
fight with each other today. We're okay.
Oh.
We're okay. You know, I was a bit scared about this tiered list because I thought, oh no, we're not gonna be very amicable on this. It's very hard to put armies in tiers because it's very hard because the armies don't actually work independently of each other. Very few books are very independent. A lot of books like take units from other armies and become better, right? So it's very hard to look at a book as a book. You get sidetracked a lot. So putting them into tiers, I give we a heck of a lot of credit for doing that because I couldn't do it.
Yes,
you would have put
initiative and put it down, no problems. And that is why we is we. But
yeah, thank you. Great job. Appreciate it.
Yeah, it was a really good. It was a good.
Although you guys are still wrong about Beast Claw Raiders. I mean, come on, they're garbage. Get out of here.
You're just asking for trouble.
Gorka will be very displeased.
That's fine. Yeah. That's fine. Bring it. I ain't afraid. Okay. Well, that's great. This has been a lot of fun, guys.
Yeah, we'll wrap it up for today, and we'll see you next week on Friday. All right. Thanks a lot, Yuri. Thanks a lot, Wee.
Take care.
It was fun.
Thank you for having me on your show. Bye-bye.
We'll have you more often. All right. Have a good evening, guys.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.